Tamika Joy. It's the stars with Tamika Joy. It's the stars with Tamika Joy. It's the stars with Tamika Joy. Feeling real good, feeling all fly. Put the headphones on, it's time to get live. It's the stars with Tamika Joy. It's the stars with Tamika Joy. Tune into the show, it's a vibe and flow. Chime in and tell me what you know. Yes, with Tamika Joy. It's the stars 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 with Tamika Joy. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. It is another Friday. And we made it. Thank the good Lord up above, y'all. My name again is Tamika Joy. And welcome to the Stars with Tamika Joy. We're going to have an amazing show, as we always do. But first, I want to say happy birthday. Happy birthday, happy birthday to all of y'all Scorpios out there. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Those that had one yesterday, those that are celebrating today and tomorrow, and all the way till next Thursday. Happy birthday to you and to our lovers. Our anniversary. Happy anniversary to our lovers out there. I'm hoping that you are just in love and keeping everything new and fresh, because that's what it's all about, just loving, 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 loving over and over and over again. In and out, in and out, and over again. So happy anniversary. We're going to have a great show. Like I said, it is going to be a show where we talk a little bit, not only to our guest, but I'm wanting to tap into the communication part here, because I feel like that is something that is lacked in our families and our homes, where we weren't taught how to really communicate with one another, from, just siblings, parent and child. And when we get so frustrated with things, we just bottle up things, or we rant out in a certain way, to where, if we were to learn the behavior of communicating properly, a lot of things that we go through daily wouldn't be on the forefront. We would have to deal with, to where we cut people off, just for something that was an agreement, that you could have just agreed to disagree and walk away. You blow up and just walk away, and now you don't want nothing to do with this person for the rest of your life. And it was just something over a miscommunication. So I really think that now is the time to, especially when the holidays, we're getting close to holidays. I don't want to go to mama house, big mama house, cousin or Daryl house, because she gonna be there, or I don't mess with him. I don't even get down with him like that. So I ain't trying to go, because there aren't barriers, and you haven't given people, the right communication in regards to how you feel, and lines they can't cross, so you rather not deal with them at all. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. We don't have to live in a life of going around certain people. We can just really just communicate. And I get it. Some people aren't, even worth the energy, and you may feel like, well, I've done all that I can possibly do. Hey, it is what it is. But there are some. And so I want to talk about the communication real quick before we jump into with our guest. And so for number one, it says, let others talk. You have to be a great listener, and learning how to be a listener is a skill. It is something that a lot of people lack. I know how to listen, but you're not listening to comprehend, you're listening to respond. You just hear somebody say something before they can even get the next thing out, you immediately coming back with something. You're not comprehending, you're listening to respond to something. And that right there, is where it goes wrong. If someone's talking to you about something difficult or important, don't interrupt them with a story about yourself, even if it is relevant. Let them have the floor. And so we have a special guest, my sister girl, Lisa Washington. Where you at, sis? So, how are you?
I am fine. How are you?
Wonderful. Shout out to DMS Media.
Yes, yes. Yeah, you are right up my alley with the communication for sure.
Yes, yes. So I was just sharing some of of my little list of communication, and I wanted to definitely bring you in to kind of get your take of when it comes to people, just communicating and learning how to grasp that, so that their relationship can get stronger. They become better people, and it's just overall. So the first question, or the first tip that I put down there, was let others talk. Like, how important is that? Like, when it comes to that.
That's funny you asked me that question. For those who don't know, I have a book out called The Power of Shut Up. Um, which speaks directly to that. And it's really not about telling people to shut up. Although I know we want that pass. It's not about that, but it's about learning how to speak to people, when to speak to people. And the other part of what you're talking about right there is an if. And I do agree with you. Sometimes, actually, more than often, we're actually, waiting to respond. We're just waiting for our turn. And we haven't heard anything that the person said. I've used this, one of the scenarios in the book is about being in a meeting. And have you ever sat in meetings where I think I hear the same concept said 10 different ways because everybody wants to say that in their own way. So we've wasted like an hour of listening to one idea, spoken 10 different times. And then they look at me like, why don't you have anything to say? I said, you all have said this 10 times. There's nothing else to say. So yeah, people are guilty of that, but everybody wants a turn.
Yeah, you just want to be, you feel like you have to be heard. And that's not always, you'll get your moment, but let the other person also get their moment, because then you're making it about you.
Right.
You're not really listening to accept what that other person is trying to say to you.
Right.
And it's so hard. It is. It's very hard to do, but it's something that is very important when it comes to communication, because then it also opens up the door to the relationship, because that person know that they can come to you
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to listen to them. So there, it's not, well, I'm not going to say nothing to such and such because I already know they ain't going to listen. They get in their mind to have a conversation that they already done got the answer to, without even having the actual conversation with that person. They have already given the solution to, well, I already know what's going to happen. And that's what a lot of our conversations are, third party, within our head, when it comes to,
Right.
with a lot of our relationships, because we like, I ain't even gonna say nothing because I already know, you know.
I am guilty as
Right?
charged. There's sometimes
Yeah, we
it's
all.
like,
It's easy. It's so
yeah,
easy to do, and we gotta kind of just, if we practice that, then it becomes different. It becomes the new norm, and that's what I'm just wanting us to get into, that new norm. And I'm speaking to myself, too, as
I
well.
agree. I agree. Yeah, well, that's why I wrote the book in the first place, because really it was a self check. Someone literally told me to shut up. And after I got, because you don't tell nobody, you shut up. Like, what's that?
Right.
But after I got out of my feelings, I knew it was coming from a place of love, and they were right. I mean, how many times now do I tell myself when I'm getting ready to get into a discussion to defend or respond, and then I just take 1 minute. I always tell people just take 1 minute to think about what's going on, and
Hmm.
most of the time, I actually decide not to say anything and then think about the most appropriate time to respond so everybody gets heard. Sometimes it's just not the right moment for you to address whatever issue it is. But don't forget about it. Just, come back around and
Right.
another time, because they're not going to hit first of all. And I'm just going for those married people. You can talk all day long if you want to, but if they are not in the moment of receiving, you would just be talking.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just gonna go nowhere. And
Right.
then now you're at a point to where you don't want nothing to do with each other. And just like what it reminds me of. It reminds me of that episode with Martin and Gina when they were supposed to go to their little party.
The anniversary party, right there, the engagement party.
Right, the engagement party, and it was like, they were just arguing, just acting simple the whole time, what I'm saying? Just something dumb. And just like that's what that and it's just like, what are we arguing for? At the end of the day, somebody has to give in, and it becomes, crazy. So the second one I have on the list is don't judge. Don't
Mhm.
judge others. What's your take on when it comes to that?
Well, and I guess that kind of goes into the first thing we talked about, because you're already deciding how this conversation is going to go. You're already deciding they're not going to listen. A lot of times we're already deciding we have all the answers. So that's why we're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
So if we stop judging, we actually might learn from those who we think we really can't gain anything from. I mean, you can learn something from everybody, whether it's good, bad, and different, whatever. You can learn something from everyone if you just listen. Actually, I learn more by staying quiet and observing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's why everybody be like, I didn't even know. I wasn't even. Yeah, because I didn't. Yeah, I'm always notes,
That's
notes, notes.
right.
The third one on the list is accept that they may disagree with you. I think that's a heavy one.
Absolute. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
It's but like you said earlier, agreeing to disagree. But I mean, I think that comes with wisdom and learning, because I wasn't there, I
Mhm.
still wasn't there. When I wrote the book, I was just starting to realize that, okay, it's okay for people to not agree with what you say. I know we're all passionate about what we believe in, but we also have to respect the fact that someone else is just as passionate about something else. So I'm even, learning other ways to communicate with people so that they have their space, I have mine, and we're like, okay, I see what you're saying, but it doesn't mean that somebody's trying to change your view. I think that's what happens, that people think you're trying to change their mind.
Right.
Yeah, and we're not. Sometimes people just feel passionate about what they believe in
Mhm. Absolutely.
loudly.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is that you just got, like you said, it's definitely the maturity of just saying, you know what, obviously we're not getting nowhere. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna agree to disagree and walk away. I still love you,
Hmm.
you know, and let's just let it be what it's gonna be. You have your opinion, I have mine, and that's okay. And that's hard for a lot of people to do. What's the fourth one is ask open questions. Now, this is one that I definitely want to hear from you when it says, when it comes to asking opening questions.
So when you say opening questions, like just to start conversation, I will admit I'm a why person.
Mm-hmm.
So I ask lots of questions.
Right.
Probably to the point of annoyance, but I'm one of those people who is like, okay, well, why? Okay, well, why do we have to do this or why? So I'm really open with asking questions, but I also know that there's a curve with that too. And actually, my mother was the one who told me that. Um, there's a lot of things that you'll never know the reason or the why. So
Mhm.
stop letting that be your motivation, because you could go crazy with the why and never hear the message, because you're busy trying to find out, well, why was the message to me and why was this, instead of just listen to what people are saying. But ask those questions. Don't be afraid. No question. I know they say no questions is a dumb question. I teeter totter on that sometimes, but no, I'm just kidding. But I mean, questions are good. I mean, you gotta, if you need to know something, you gotta ask. Just what I would say with the questions is be open to receiving the answer, even if it's not what you wanted to hear.
Right. Yeah. And I'm thinking, more so of, the open questions in regards to, outside of, the contradicting or condescending, you know,
Mm,
questions, you know what I'm saying? Just, really kind of just be, open to the questions that you're trying to ask, and let them be something that, is not a just, you just trying to be funny, or, you actually are being open and 100, and, being truthful as well,
right. Transparency.
being very transparent with that, so that you can really heal from whatever it is that you're trying to get to. Because when you're trying to be funny, you're trying to be condescending, that's maybe a trigger for the next person, and then you're not being real to really get to the next, to the other side,
That's
so
true.
wanting to kind of just really be open and transparent and saying, hey, this is how I feel, versus I don't even care, such and such. You care. You wouldn't even
Right.
when it came off first to saying you don't care, because clearly when you first say I don't even care, that means you care.
Absolutely. So when you respond like that, you're really telling on yourself.
Right, right,
Yeah, it's really
exactly.
reflecting back to you when you do that. So I say the same thing to people, like, it. Yes, you do.
Yeah, right,
And it's
right.
okay. It's okay to care. It's okay.
Right. It's okay to care. That's what we want to, that's what you should be passionate about. I care and I want to talk about this. The next question, or the next one of my put down was, to show them that you're listening. I think that is mostly like the ultimate, when
Hmm.
you can feel confident that this person is really walking with what you're saying, because you're able to answer them in complete sentences. You're able to say it back or whatever have you, so that you can feel like you're talking to someone that is listening. They get you. What do
Look,
you?
how about those not those one word responses? So I think that's
Mhm.
millennials versus
Yeah.
our age group, because I know, having a conversation with my daughter, she's grown now, but it's very different, because okay is like a complete sentence to her, and I'm like, no, we that I
Right.
need a sentence. I need like 2 or 3 words or something. But they just feel like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
no, yeah,
Bet.
yeah.
Bet. Word. Like, no. Are you telling? Is this a yes or is it
Right.
a no?
Even though I'm guilty of bet now, I done picked it up. So I'm like, bet. The only thing I stopped was the bruh. So, every time I
Bruh.
talked to my
Oh my
daughter, it was like,
God.
bruh. I said, I
Bruh.
am not your bruh. Okay.
And they say it so much that I catch myself
I
saying
do.
it, because I don't know, bruh. I'm telling you now.
That's that lazy conversation, but I'm guilty of using it, because I'm like, bruh. And I'm like, ooh, I'm not supposed to be saying that. 'Cause yeah, communication is everything. It's
It
everything.
is. And I just want us to kind of just get in that whole, that element of just not being cliche in regards to, expressing our feelings, and be, like I said, being transparent, and, really sharing how you feel, and open and honest and communicating. And that is definitely something that I want to bring to the table. And we're going to be talking about it all month, because, like I said, it's the holidays, and I need some families together bond, to love on each other, to create memories and legacies. So that's what I'm all about for this month. So
I
thank
love
you
it.
so much, Lisa,
No, thank
for being
you.
on. And I definitely got to have you back on another one where we can have our whole interview, and it'll be great. So thank you
Absolutely.
so much for being on the show. I truly appreciate you.
Absolutely. See you next time.
All right, dear. We'll go to a commercial, you guys. Woo, man, that communication. Yes, 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 you guys. Oh, so our next guest is not a stranger, of course, to the DMV area. He is definitely have made a mark here in the area. Not only just in the DMV area, he does his thing all over. Because every time I talk to him, he's over on the other side, on the West Coast. So let's bring him in. My guy, my brother Breeze. What's up, bro? Mute yourself.
Uh, how
Hey,
about that?
I hear you now.
That's what's up. That's what's up. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Just getting my tidbits from you on communication.
I'm telling you, man, it's been a long time coming, but just going through it myself. I'm just like, why keep it to myself? Why
There
not
you go.
help others and learning how to, just communicate? Because it's a
Absolutely.
thing, you know.
Absolutely. It's a good
Definitely.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I definitely love it, love it, love it. So tell me, for those that don't know, tell me a little bit about Breeze. And of
Oh
course,
man.
you have the acronyms of BUMM, which stands for
Oh
Breeze.
well, Breeze the urban maestro. Breeze the urban maestro. That's it.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. And born and raised in the DMV area?
Yep. Born in D.C. Born in D.C. and of course lived in Maryland for a little while. Then I lived in New York. When I was doing anything with record labels and studios and stuff. So been here, the East Coast kid for the most part. So DC, even lived in Baltimore for a little bit. So, but DC is home. Born and raised in DC for sure.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. How was life growing up? Just basically in the DC and the music. How was the music in DC growing up?
Growing up, music DC period. As far as when you talk about music, and especially when you talk about live music, is a great place. So, me coming up, I grew up around music. Everybody, well, a lot of people in my family played music or either were singers. My grandfather had a church, so that meant all his kids had to be the choir, and choir and the musicians until the church grew. So, and then on my father's side, he was a musician also. So, I grew up around music and growing up in DC, of course, you had to get some go-go band experience and all that kind of stuff with the percussion. So I think my first instrument probably was a table. I
Mm.
would be banging on the tables, get the go-go beat going on. Somebody else had the congos, so nah, DC is DC. I love DC. DC is always gonna be home, even though I did my time in New York. You know, DC is so unique. That's the one thing about DC. It's very unique. Especially on the music scene. So
Yes,
love the
yeah.
live side of it.
Um, and so tell me, when did you said, as far as it's music has always been in your family, always been, you grew up, um, you
Yeah.
know, being a part of that whole music. What age did you, like really take an interest to this, to be like, this is something that I may want to do?
I thought you were getting ready to hit me with like that brown sugar line. When did you fall in love with hip hop or something?
Right. When did it go
But
into?
nah, yeah. But when did I really become interested in music? I would say I mean I always loved music, of course, but as far as I had a drum set. I ended up having a drum set by the time I was around 10.
Mhm.
And then the drum set turned into having congos and timbales, the cowbells, rototoms, all the things you need to be, for go-go in DC. But my love was always, as far as sound and music, was really R&B overall. So I would say by the time I was around 10, I started, really getting into music and playing the percussions. And then later on, my grandfather, who I mentioned, he had a church in Baltimore,
Okay.
and it was far enough away that I didn't have to go to church every Sunday up there. So all my other cousins that lived in Baltimore, of course, they had to go every week. But he was getting rid of a piano one year because I guess they were getting a new piano at the church, and he was asking if anybody in the family wanted one. And my parents, they volunteered. So I came home one day and there was a piano in the basement with all my drums and percussions, and I started messing with the piano. And that became my main instrument after that, really. Yep. So yeah, that's when it all started.
Wow, wow,
Hmm.
amazing, amazing. And doing music for a while now. Share with me one of your best moments.
Wow. One of my best moments. You know what? I would say one of my. I have so many. You ask me tomorrow, it might change. But a moment that pops up that was a really cool moment was when I was in college. I went to school at Bowie State, and I was there when they started the first production class as far as music production. They had electronic music class and all that kind of stuff. And Dr. Knight, who was our professor at the time, he made us each team up with somebody. So you had your instruments there, but you also had to learn how to, do your audio engineering and your recording and stuff like that for the class. And so, I didn't know any, but by that time I was working in studios, and there was a young lady that I ended up partnering up with. I didn't know she was a singer, but me and her we partnered up in the class. We were crushing everybody. So it just happened to be my music partner was Tony Braxton. So yeah, so her and I would partner up in our class and everything. I think they used to call us peaches and herbs to tease us and stuff. But so that's how that started. Yeah, so that was a cool moment. One of those hindsight cool moments because it's just God orchestrates things a certain way, and you just never know what that next thing is going to turn into. Because I could have partnered up with anybody, but it ended up being her. And
Right.
then, by coincidence, I ended up working with her and her sisters and doing production with all of them. So yeah,
Right.
it was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yes, wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. I love it. I love it. And for those that don't know, but of course they're watching and they're tuning in, and they're of course have heard that you produce, and you're playing instruments and things of that such. Share with them some of the people that you've worked with in the music industry.
Oh wow. Wow, that's a long list.
Well, some.
Well, I used to so what it was as far as that, I used to when I was in New York, I worked out of Quad Studios, which was I guess the infamous studio where Tupac first got shot. And
Mhm.
then I had a mentor named Daryl Pearson. He was
Mhm.
my mentor in music, and Daryl was Jodeci's guitar player as well as one of the top producers of R&B during those that 90s eras, from everybody from Maya to Brownstone to just you name it, Usher. He was producing everybody. So during that time, I was working in studios with him a lot and working out of Choir Studios, and sometimes we would work out at Daddy's house, which was Puffy Studios sometimes and stuff. So I was working with a lot of different people. I was meet a lot of people, get to learn. Sometimes you just that fly on the wall, absorbing all the knowledge. Other times you get that opportunity to show what you can do, and so I took advantage of that, and I had good mentors in the game. But I mean, I was around every from the Drew Hills to of course being in the studios with the Jodeci's to the of course dealing with Tony and her sisters. I mean, yeah, and the Keith Murrays, the being in the studios. I had the opportunity for some time to work with Corey Rooney, and then doing some stuff with the Def Jam situation in Universal. So it was just you move all around, and you end up just meeting people and working with different people in different capacities. Yeah,
Right.
so I enjoy it. I love life right now. I love it.
I know, and it does, and it's a great thing. It's a good feeling, and it's up and down. It can be one moment this and one moment that.
Right,
Have you
right.
ever felt like you wanted to just quit?
Music,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I had a period of time, and that's the thing when being in the music industry. I was young when I first started.
Right.
Probably, I started out when I was touring with people and playing with people, but then eventually it turned to me doing production in the studios. But you're just going along for if you want to be there, you want to create and just do that. But there was a part where I didn't know the business side, and um, I ended up getting ripped off a significant amount of money. And once I found out how much I was getting ripped off, somebody created a ghost company, was taking some of my royalties and this, and that. So you find that stuff out later. And I was, I'm a much more of a peaceful person now. But
Right.
then, then I kind of wanted to handle things a little different. And so I had to just get myself together and kind of take a little hiatus from music for about a couple, maybe 2 years. But
Mhm.
I never stopped being in love with music. It was just that it was kind of brokenhearted. That somebody would do something like that, which you worked hard for. And opportunities, music industry is very cruel. So you don't, you can't think just because you had an opportunity this time that it's going to keep coming around. So,
Right.
so during that time, I took a little hiatus, got myself together, got out of my pity party, and got back on the horse, and we got back in and started knocking down things. But I took, but that situation, even though it was meant for bad, it turned out into good because that was what made me learn the business of music, and that's why even my company now is New Jack's Entertainment and Consulting, because I don't want other people to go through that. So I try to consult artists who's in the industry as far as what to do. As much as you want to do the music part, I make sure they learn the business part too, because that's the biggest word out of two, the business. So
That's right.
yeah, yeah, absolutely,
Absolutely is key. The
yeah,
business. The
yeah, the
business.
business, get the
Please
business,
learn.
yeah.
It's not about the gift. It's not about
Nah,
the gift.
nah,
Like,
you,
say it
you
with
better
me.
get
It's
it.
not about the gift. It's all about the business.
You better believe it. You better do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If not, you just doing home entertainment or just, why
Yeah,
do something if you can't benefit from it?
you just being a
Yep.
karaoke singer.
There you go. There you go. Save yourself the heartache. For
So
sure.
listen, tell me a little bit about this indie project that you have going on. What's that all about?
What's that?
The indie project.
Oh, the indie prize. So yeah, so being in music all my life, for the most part. There's certain things that I would see, and one of my loves became, the industry has changed so much since I first began, that now, as an independent artist or anybody doing business independently, you can do so much more on your own, but yet you still got to know the business side and all that. But I see the industry changing so much that independent artists are being empowered. I wanted to create a platform that I could also, make accessible and help exploit those independent artists out there. So, what you do, you dive into something that you have no business. I would have never thought 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, that I'd be, be the executive producer of a TV show that comes on ABC. But opportunity came because a good friend of mine, Stevie Johnson up in Baltimore. We were doing some business together, and he kind of gave me that nudge and that push to say, yo, you know what you should do because you have these connections, you can do this and that. And so I started the show, and the show was originally it was called the IMTV show, which stood for Independent Artist Music Television.
Mhm.
Um, and then, but we changed the name because we wanted to be cooler. So we changed the name to Indie Culture because we wanted to not just touch just the music videos of independent artists from all around the world. We also wanted to talk about the things that were going on behind the scenes. So we want people to get tidbits for if you want to make a music video, to how to do production, to talking to people. So I have we have some interviews set up with one of the gentlemen who was Ludacris publicist, doing some stuff. Of course, you gotta have Daryl's going to be on there, but as well as some of your artists that's in the industry, as far as on the major labels, we have interviews with them, and also some of your major independent artists. So we're doing that, going to different studios, talking to different engineers and producers to see what's their approach on recording music, or even some songwriters. What's your approach on when you songwrite? Because I think all those things can give people a head start and ideas of how to, do what they're doing with their gifts, and maybe, even collaborate with somebody that you might see on the show. But it's awesome because, the way the show is set up is these videos, we really set a standard with it, and push the envelope that if you're going to send a video, that the video has to really be quality, and that's what you want to push. We don't want everybody to think that mediocrity is okay. So these videos that you see, if you didn't know any better, if you closed your ears and just looked, you would think it was major artists doing these videos, because that's the quality that you're getting from these videos that we're having, and from the music. And so that just shows you how much of that gap is closing more and more when you talk about artists like Chance the Rapper, or God rest his soul, Nipsey Hussle, and all those guys who I think I knocked my stand down, but all those guys who kind of pushed the envelope when it came to doing the independent artist thing, that when the record labels came back to them to do negotiation for distribution, they had so much leverage that
Right.
they could get the better deal versus knocking on the door and saying, hey, we have good music, but we don't have any followers, we don't have any production done. So that's what the show is all about, empowering those independent artists that want to push the envelope and go to the next level, and introducing different things. And so, I'm excited about, we're on I call it season 2.5, because when we were talking to the people at ABC, they were just blown away, because normally somebody might do 12 episodes for your first year. But we actually did a full year and a half. We did actually 31 episodes continuously. So,
Wow.
so we're looking at even moving some of that content to other networks, and even overseas, and pushing some of it there where they don't get a chance to see some of that type of video footage.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it's
How
awesome.
can the
Yeah,
people get
yeah.
involved in regards to, if any indie artists that are watching want to get with you to be, get the opportunity to show their videos?
Yeah, well, if they want their videos to be reviewed, and just email us, submit your video link, your bio, your information to ND Culture, and I'll spell it for you, because but it's IN.DE.culture, but culture spelled with a KULTURE, and I'll send you the information. You can put a plug up or
We're
whatever the
gonna
case
show
may be.
the video
Yeah,
of it as well after give your shout outs and let us the people know how they can reach you, and then we're gonna show
absolutely.
the video of a little bit about the whole indie culture, and yeah, so give us your shout outs and where the people can find you.
Well, the shout outs, I definitely got to give a shout out to my team, my partners with Indie Culture, and of course, my company, New Jacks Entertainment. My partners, Tony is my business partner. So I got to give a shout out to Mr. Tony, but at the same time, a shout out to DC's own Aladdin, the Prince of the Airways. If you're familiar with Aladdin, he's also in WKYS. But Aladdin is actually our host for the TV show. So I gotta give a shout out to the team because they've been working super hard with me. So I'm just so proud to be able to do that and open the doors for other people. So you can catch us on the IG, of course, social media and all that kind of stuff. Me, Breeze, the Urban Maestro. You can catch me on IG most of the time. And then, of course, Indie Culture TV is also the other for the TV show. So, and the thing, if I can say real quick, that's beautiful about it is because we have total control of the show. It also allows us to do commercials for artists that want to submit commercials, or if they want to be sponsors or do endorsements on there. Whether even if they don't, have a video out, they still can promote their product and their brand. And that's one of the things that we negotiated. We wanted to make sure we had control of also. So that way you don't have to worry about seeing a Tide commercial every 5 minutes, but you can also see some people from all over the globe. So that's
Right.
kind of like we're
I'm
excited
gonna have
about
to
that.
get one of these commercials of the stars of
Send
Tamika
it.
Joy.
Got you. Get Tamika Joy. We got you for sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate you being
My
on the
pleasure.
show. It's always a pleasure. I love you to death, and love to have you back whenever you want to come on back. Just let me know.
All
But we're
right.
gonna show a little bit of the video. Like I said, we're gonna show the whole video of the indie culture and Mr. I was gonna say Prince, but just Prince, but it's not Prince
Aladdin.
Aladdin, it's just Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Aladdin's gonna take us away and give us the video. So thank you
thank,
again, Breeze. Appreciate you.
thank you for having me. Keep rising, Queen. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
All right, peace.
Holy up, it's Aladdin, Prince of the Airways, and I got 2 words for you. We back. It's all about New Jacks Entertainment in season 2 of IMTV. But new season, new name. Now we're doing indie culture. Indie culture. Indie culture. We're doing it for the culture, by the culture, indie culture. It's all about the independent minds on the independent grinds. New season, more new heat. But we need your videos. Send in your videos right now to indieculture@gmail.com. We're going to see you soon.
So there y'all have it. Y'all have it there. Get involved. Hit my guy up. He gonna make sure do the screening. This is not for everybody now. You got to come correct, or don't come at all. You got to come correct because it's business first. It's nothing personal. But you can get an opportunity to be on ABC. I think that is so cool. And you know, nothing beats a failure but a try. So reach out to my guy Breeze, and let the opportunities make a way for you. One actually flyer I want to show. My sister, my beloved sister Joy Terrell. I love her so much. Give her a shout. Want to give her a shout out for donating to the stars with Tamika Joy. She cashed at me last week, and I wanted to say thank you, Miss Joy. Over the airways or over social media, for your generous gift. I definitely appreciate you. And so actually this Sunday she's having a Thanksgiving event. And so down at the harbor at Bobby McKee's, where they'll be having music and just meet and greet and brunch. She's having an unlimited brunch festival where you can just go and just have a good time. The menu is off the chain. I wish I was going to be in town. I would definitely, it's right around the corner for me too. I'm so upset, but I wanted to definitely share with those that may want to be doing something for the weekend and don't know what to do. Please go and enjoy that. Get a sister, get a brother going out and have a good time. We're going to keep it rolling. My next guest, I love her, love her, love her. Bring her on in. Teapot, where you at?
Right
Honey. Waiting so patiently. How you been? I know you had a long day.
Yeah, but I've enjoyed the conversations. I've enjoyed listening to what everyone's had to say. It's been interesting, actually. So thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Had to get you on. Had to get you on. For those that don't know, Miss Teapot, she actually has been my vocal coach and Treasure's vocal coach, and many other celebrities and artists, not only in the DMV area, all around. And my sister has been, doing vocal lessons all day long. So we're not going to take too much of your time. We're going to jump in with a few questions.
Fine. I got plenty for you.
So listen, I mean, although I know I want to, because I know, you're known for Teapot, more than you are your real name. So tell me, how did the name Teapot come?
So, it's a I think it's a little bit of a strange story, but a good story. So before I came to Washington, D.C. to attend Howard University, that summer right before, I was sitting on my couch in my mother's home, crocheting. And what would you do for a Klondike bar came on? And the question was, would you sing I'm a Little Teapot? And the person saying I'm a Little Teapot, and just the mindlessness of me doing crocheting, I just started kind of singing along with it or singing it again and humming along with it. And before I knew it, I had arranged a different kind of arrangement, some little jazzy rendition of it. And so when I came to school, I wanted to join the Howard Gospel Choir. And I used that to audition with. And there was a gentleman by the name of Jeffrey Waddy, who was a part of my audition panel. And he was like, that's it. We ain't never going to call you Alicia. Your name is Teapot. You might as well forget it. Nobody's going to call you that. And at the time, there were like 95, 96, 100 people in the choir. So that's almost 100 people who were like, okay, we're going to call you Teapot. And we're all students. And so people would introduce me as, this is my friend Teapot. And it just kind of just, I still like to say that I would be on campus and get ready to sing somewhere, and they'd be like, next, we'll have a solo by Alicia McKinney. And I'll be walking, like, oh, hey, Teapot, is Alicia McKinney here? If she could, she can come up. So it just erased my actual government name. My family calls me Teapot now. So it definitely is something that I've earned and maintained, for sure.
Now, I'm going to do an exclusive real quick. Do you mind sharing the rendition of the Teapot?
I can publicly, in your exclusivity, tell you no.
And ladies and gentlemen, you have to accept it with a smile and say, that's okay. I appreciate your honesty and move along. Don't get in your feelings. There's the communication. You see how this works? It's nothing of a hard feeling. She gave you her side, her opinion, what she wanted. You have to accept it. Move along.
I will find the video for you because there is a video of it on YouTube. I will find it for you. I used to make this song so much. It'd be like, it was just, I just can't do it no more. I can't do it.
Oh my gosh, I love it, absolutely. So you mentioned, HU, and you being an alumni there. How was it at Howard?
I always say Howard is a place that taught you to be both pimp and prostitute at the same time. Like you don't come out of there. You may not graduate, but you ain't coming out of there without some level of education. It's the thing, if you've seen them on the news recently, with the students talking about their housing and how it's deplorable and how they're, striking against the university. When I came in my freshman first month, there was a protest on campus. There was something going on, and there have been protests before about what these young people are fighting about. And I loved it. I stayed for 2 degrees. That's my alumni home. I have a love for Howard. I will always have a love for Howard. I've stayed here in DC. Definitely, I've lived here longer than I've lived any other place in my life is here in DC. And I'll always be a bison. There'll always be something about me that will belong to them for sure.
Right. Yeah. Share with the people a little bit about your music background. Not only coming from Howard, just, overall, some of the things that you have now, registered and now can say, you have those accolades.
A very old album. And but I have a lot of credits on other people's albums that I'm very proud of. I help arrange music all the time. Um, I don't really sing that much in public anymore. I do sing at weddings and some homegoing celebrations, but haven't really had. I do want to get back into it actually though, Tamika. I want to get back and I'm going to finish my second album that has been
Yes.
in the works for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And
Same.
it's because that music is dated now, so I have to update and change.
Right.
I always feel like as long as you have breath and there's time to prove God, and
Mm-hmm.
we prove God through our gifts. So
Right.
mine is opening my mouth, and amongst other things that I know how to do, but definitely singing is something that I miss, and eventually want to get back into. But I have an album, but I've been so engulfed in everyone else's journey,
Mm-hmm.
and the people
Mm-hmm.
and the people that I help grow to another platform in their own artistry. So that's
Right.
really been my real baby. I always say, if you're singing, then I'm singing. If you're
Mm-hmm.
on stage with my brand coming out of your mouth, I'm definitely singing.
Right. And I get that so much that because I feel like that's what I've been doing for quite some time now, and that's why I haven't been back on. And I'll get the bug and say I'm going to do it, and then I get some more clients and get some more people, and then I'm just now I'm them, because you can't kind of you want to be available to them. So if you're available to them, what do you have left? So I definitely get it,
Yeah,
definitely get it. When it comes to having clients, what are one of your pet peeves? When it has to your clients.
I think one of my biggest pet peeves is when someone, especially, I have some students that are young people, like under the age of 18. So
Mm-hmm.
they're babies to me. So, and I know that their parents are putting them here in this situation to support their gifts and their dreams. But when adults come to me and I become an afterthought for something that they want to do, that is like a peeve. Like I have book club today, so I can't come to lessons. Like either you want this, I can't want your dream more than you, and
Right.
either this is a priority for you,
Mm-hmm.
or you can just go and do something else. Like we don't have to do this. No one's forcing you to come to me. So you have to make a solid decision. And I hate the other thing I don't like is when people say, well, I'm not, my voice hasn't done this or I haven't done that. And I'm like, but have you put any work into it? Like we see each other once a week,
Mm-hmm.
once the other week. You can't go to the gym to see a trainer once a month or once every other week and expect abs.
Right.
You know, working.
Takes time. Takes definitely time. Have you ever refused a client?
I told one young man who was sent to me by someone who I thought was my friend. She worked with this guy and he was not balanced
Mm.
when he got to me. And that was before pandemic and I was still receiving people in my home. And so for me, I was like, oh my God, who did she send me? Like, am I safe here with him? Like he
Mm-hmm.
actually a little bit scared me, but not where I need to go grab a weapon, but like
Right.
what
Right.
but I told him, I said, I'm gonna give you 6 weeks
Mm-hmm.
to see where you are because I hate turning away someone
Mm-hmm.
if that's what they really want to do.
Right. Right.
And we didn't make it 6 weeks. I was like, I can't. This is so off the chain for me. I can't do it. So yeah.
Wow. Wow. How about when it comes to of course you're all about the making sure that the vocals are conditioned and healthy and all of this. I know that's definitely a passion for you.
Yes.
How important is that to some artists that are wanting to really get into music?
That's a great question because in my experience and journey in working with label artists and people who are on the road and doing stuff, I get the pleasure and the opportunity to meet other artists who are also label artists and also, doing big things. And there are some people who understand the importance of keeping yourself vocally healthy. And there are some people who just feel like, oh, I don't need that. I just sing. And I've come to realize that vocalists are probably the most inapt people on stage most of the time. Because if you look at it, Tamika, everyone else is warming up. The pianist is right here, the drummer is right here, horns right here, doing this right here. Like everybody's actually legitimately warming up. But oftentimes a vocalist is like, I just got out of bed, I came here, I just woke up singing like this. And then what my experience has been, because I'm known in the area, I'm known in the DC area for getting people vocally healthy. I've restored a lot of voices in my career time. And what I've learned is you see everybody else warming up, but that doesn't penetrate you. And your instrument is one, internal, and two, you don't have a volume number thing.
Right.
There's no volume nodule on you. Like your voice is going to be as loud as it is, or as loud as the microphone will allow it to be. But what you hear is something different. So you're one person, and on stage around you are other instruments that all have volume levels that they can turn up, and you're just a body.
Right.
The body will respond to what it thinks it's processing. So you'll end up yelling and stretching your voice or doing damage to your voice in a way that you wouldn't necessarily do if you heard yourself better. You know what I mean? If you heard, that's why it's very important to have inner ears also as well. You can put in your ear what you need to hear. But
Right.
the instrument is internal. If you don't warm the instrument up, you are probably going to suffer.
Crash and burn.
And then the other things, there's so many things that are contingent, like what you eat, what you drink,
Yes.
how you dress in cold weather, like singing outside.
Yes.
So many things. Like
Yeah.
with somebody else who's doing this, they don't have to have those worries.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you
Yes, absolutely. Protecting, keeping a scarf around your neck, this is your instrument, so you have to protect it at all costs, and it's a lifestyle that a lot of people don't think that it is. They, like you said, roll out the bed and just sing, but it's a lifestyle. It's a daily thing that you have to be very, strict, and give yourself, those things, those pleasures. So when you do perform, that you are on point. So definitely you do so much, girl. Your vocals, vocal lessons, you're doing, training the voice, keeping it healthy, life coaching, you're doing your baking, I done had, then gained a few pounds off the sweet potato tarts, so but I'm coming back. I done went down a little bit so I can come up a little bit. But I've always admired you, and I always will. You'll always be, someone I definitely, look to, just stay in my corner and being accountable in regards to my vocals and, just, everything all around. So I definitely appreciate you on what you've helped and brought to my family. Like I said, myself and Treasure as well. And for those that want to are looking for a vocal coach, looking for someone, looking for a life coach, looking for someone to have making some nice bakery, Teapot is the woman. That's the one that you want to call. So tell the people where they can find you at Teapot.
Well, musically, you kind of just have to find me along the way, but I can always be reached at 202-271-2851 is my phone number. Please leave a message. I will definitely get back to you if you're looking for a vocal coach. Life coaching is something I just kind of pick up along the way. I think people need to come to me organically, so they do seem to come to me. I have been doing it for 3 years now, and I specialize in confidence building, which I think is great for someone who's vocally doing something, because you actually would be surprised how many people are scared to get on stage, or how many people you don't think that they have that issue because they're celebrities or they're doing whatever. And they actually do have a lot of anxiety about getting on stage. I'm surprised that, not really surprised, but you may be surprised to hear that coming out of the pandemic, a lot of people who were already doing this professionally are now actually having issues about, can I still do it? Can I on stage? Am I still relevant? So I'm finding clients now who are like, I've been doing this for 10, 25 years, whatever the case may be. And I'm feeling very anxious about going back out on stage.
Yeah.
So I'm giving tools to people to find who they are. I will say this to you, if that is a concern to anybody listening, you are the baddest person in the room when you get on stage, and that every eye is on you. You can't fear what is not real for anybody else other than them, some kind of way. You can't change someone's opinion about you. Most people don't come out to boo you. Most people come out to be entertained, to love on you, and to support you. So be the baddest person in the room. Be the person who commands the stage. And remember, I always say this, remember that the gift giver, the one who gave you the gift, is listening. And in the first 7 days of creating the universe, God created music. So anybody who's a vocalist is a charter member to what God created in the beginning. Own that. Every instrument is an imitation of the voice. The voice is the first instrument. So own who you are as a signed on the dotted line, chartered member of the universe.
Wow.
So something that was created in the very beginning. Wow. And so go out with that kind of power and go out in service. We are in service.
Yes.
We allow people to feel. We allow people to laugh. We allow people to be angry, to be romantic, to be happy, to be sad. We are responsible for that. So go out and be real. Go out and be that. And
yes. I love it. Yes, you gave me chills. I had chills. I'm like, I'm going. Yeah. I'm ready.
One thing, you had asked me something earlier before we started, like what came first, music or playing?
Yes.
This picture hangs up in my house. So I think both.
Oh.
Yes. Banging on a little organ.
Singing and playing. I love it. You look like you was about 4.
You see that crib in the back? I was probably about 3, maybe 3.
Yeah, I'll say 3, 4. Yeah, wonderful. I love it. I love you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I truly appreciate it. And you guys, like I said, make sure y'all hit Teapot up. She got it what you need for sure when it comes to the vocals, when it comes to the life coaching, and when it comes to the desserts. Good God Almighty.
Wait a minute. Desserts is www.teapotsdelights.desserts.
Yes. All right. There you go. Well, it has been a wonderful show. I thank you again, Teapot. I truly appreciate it. Y'all make sure y'all have a good weekend. I appreciate you guys watching. I will see y'all next week, God willing. Have a good night. God bless.
Love you.
It's the stars with Tamika Joy. It's the stars with Tamika Joy. It's the stars with Tamika Joy.